Hey everybody, welcome back to another installment of the Auto Barn project. Well, I have decided to go ahead and install these French doors in this back wall here. So the barn is an absolute mess. I've got construction debris, car parts, everything. Well, mostly just this section right here. The front of it is okay. I've got everything moved away from the back wall because these French doors are going to be installed there. And there are two windows up here. The outside two portions of the windows, the glass was missing and there was just metal installed. And what I've done is I've cut out some, it's kind of hard to see, some plywood. And I'll get to what that's going to represent in a minute here. But basically I've got this wall cleaned out, and I'll go ahead and show you the outside. So I'll walk outside and I'll walk under the deck that's out there. Stay tuned. All right, here I am on the back deck here. It's really just a roof. But as you can see, there's a really nice view, super nice view of the sunset. I've got some old roof tiles, or extra roof tiles for the main house that are stacked back here, and you can see they've been here for a while. But basically the French doors are going to go right here, and those are the plywood inserts I was talking about. This deck is actually, it doesn't look all that great, but it's pretty sturdy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a plywood deck over top with a railing, and then when I cut the opening for the doors right there, it'll be like a nice view deck. That's the edge of my property right there. So I've got some cleaning up to do back here, but really won't take much work. And what I've decided to do is go ahead and I'll insert a picture. I've always been kind of obsessed with the Amityville horror house. So when you stand back and look at this, it kind of resembles at least the basic shape of the Amityville house. So I'm going to kind of replicate it. I'm going to paint the famous like eyebrow windows right here and right here. Put the door in, and then put a railing around here. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. So follow along with me as I keep going with this journey. Stay tuned. All right, it's been a couple hours and I've got my fake windows painted. Did the base coat, I did the black, and 2 coats of clear on top of that. So I'm getting ready to go ahead and put them in the openings up there. I've got the opening of that caulked around the opening, and then I'll do a trim on the outside. So I'm gonna get these put in place. All right, an update on the Auto Barn project. It's the next day, and as you can see, I've got a piece of the siding removed from the outside. Had to cut it along the bottom. This little roof area does extend up probably a good, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 inches from the floor, but that's okay. There'll be a little step up in order to get out. So I've got that panel off. I had to cut the fiberglass at the bottom with the reciprocating saw. And I've also done that over here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and find the line where to cut this down. Then remove, I've already started removing these braces. Donovan's very interested in what I'm doing. He's never been able to go out there before. Anyway, just need to I've cut out the blocking in between the 2x4s. Gonna remove those 3 2x4s. and they'll be used to reframe the new doorway on each side. I am going to have to cut down those doors because I want them to fit underneath this header, if you can call it that. It's not really carrying any kind of load at all, no structure. But anyway, from there down to the lip where this goes right here, that's going to be built up, and I'll put some sealant down there with some sort of threshold over top. And then when I'm done, I'll do a nice deck over the top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting these out. This is exciting. So much breeze is coming in here and so much light. Like I said, the dog's happy. All right, just a quick update, and I hope you can see this. I decided what I was going to do is take this old bracing, this metal brace that I took off the outside, and put it back to use right here. And I don't know if you can see it, the glare is kind of bad, but just to kind of take some of the strain off of this quote-unquote header from falling down. I don't really have the room to put in a legitimate header. I mean, I could do it, but it would really mean reconstructing this whole back wall. Like I said, the only thing this is really supporting is just what's above it. There's a metal frame on the outside that transfers down. So anyway, depending upon how it works out, I may have to possibly build some sort of frame on the inside for additional support. But anyway, this is what I'm gonna do for now. Well, everything's all cut out and opened up. This is the rough opening for the doors. This side is plumb and level, and I just need to kind of fill in this side. So I think I might mount this left door first so I can see what kind of room I'm working with. And then I'll need to know, then I'll figure out how much I need to fill in the bottom and potentially cut off each door. So this is really good news. Super happy with getting this part of it done. I have plenty of daylight left, so I should be able to get the vast majority of this filled in. All right, that's gonna about do it for today. The rough opening is all cut. I've got a base in. Everything's fairly level. I still have some room to shim it, but I definitely have to cut the doors down and then build some kind of threshold that goes out and over the sill that's right there, which I built it up higher than the roof on purpose. So it's there's gonna be a step up to get out. Can't really do anything about that because that deck is already there. And these will definitely, these won't be full-size openings, but again, it wasn't worth rebuilding this whole entire back wall, replacing those windows, removing them. It just wasn't worth it. So mostly it's for light and air. I don't imagine I'll be hanging out there too often, but it will be nice because like I said, I'll do a deck and then some railings around it. So for right now, that's gonna do it. Once everything is all done, I'm gonna paint the outside. Well, I'm gonna put some trim around it, paint everything, paint the outside of the window trim, paint the outside so it'll match the front of it. And it'll end up being real nice. And then you won't get a lot of this light bleeding through because the front, it doesn't bleed through at all. And I'll fill in some holes up there with some expandable foam and make this wall, a little more airtight and watertight than it currently is. It doesn't leak a bunch of water, but now that I've cut those doors in there, I definitely want to make sure I do the best job I can with weather stripping and flashing on the outside to try to eliminate it. Not that it gets, you don't get a whole lot of rain around here, but anyway. So that's gonna do it for tonight. Stay tuned for the next, probably work on this tomorrow, so stay tuned. All right, well, I've got one door cut down and mounted. And as you can imagine, everything was not really what you'd want to call square and level and plumb, but I did manage to get the door in there and it swings freely, doesn't bind anywhere. So that's one door down. And I am going to use, I'm just using these this 2x4 framing as not only the rough but the finished opening, and then I'll put some stops on the outside. And the door itself, I took off all the weather stripping, but I'll put it back on now that it's cut down. Like I said, I'm going to do a piece of I don't know, aluminum or some kind of flashing that goes over this whole thing to leave it, you know, to prevent water from coming in. So it should be fine, but that's one door down. Of course, it's really windy outside right now, so the door doesn't want to stay closed. But anyway, took me about probably maybe an hour and 15 minutes to measure and cut and install. I'm by myself today, so installing this was not very easy. I had to kind of prop it up, and I mean, trying to get it to stay exactly where I wanted it. But all this will be painted. Like I said, I'll put some stops and some weather strips on the outside. And I mean, this barn is not you know, a finished grade of carpentry by any means, so this will be just fine. And then once I'm done, well, tomorrow I'll run to Home Depot and get some new locks and all the rest of the trim and everything that I need. And I will end up painting this, painting the whole outside, painting the window trim. I'll probably put a couple lights outside, and then I can start on the deck and the railing. So it's progress. I'm happy. Bolt doors are in. They definitely need to be adjusted. I need to adjust this one especially. I need to get some L brackets so I can tighten up that 2x4 over there. Like I said, this opening is just really difficult to work with because this back wall is pretty flimsy, but it's in, it opens and closes. There's a lot of friction. Like I said, this right door is hanging too low. So once I get the top moved over a little bit, everything should line up just right. So for right now, I just have it kind of held closed with an extra piece of wood. And that's pretty much gonna do it for tonight. I'll show you what it looks like on the outside. All right, here around the back, you can see that they're installed. I'm liking the way they look. Want to do a nice trim around it, and then a nice trim around the windows. It'll all sync together, and then I think I'll end up putting two lights on the outside, which will be kind of nice. They'll be on a switch from the inside, or maybe some kind of photo eye or something. Anyway, that's gonna do it for tonight. I'll pick it up again in the morning. All right, it's late Saturday afternoon, and I've been working on this all day. It's pretty much done, with the exception of some trim on the inside. I know it's pretty dark right there, you can't see, but I've got the doors cut, hung, and I've got the trim on the outside, well, some of the trim. Got some of the trim painted, the doors are painted, and I'll show you what it looks like on the outside. Right here behind the barn, you can see the doors are painted black, the window trim is black, and tomorrow I'm gonna go back to Home Depot and I'm gonna get some trim and fill in the sides, so it's gonna have a frame all the way around it. And then on those boards that are going on the side, I will mount the two exterior lights that I got today. So I'm pretty happy with today's progress. All right, I am out here on about an 80-degree day in the full sun. Been working on the trim around this. Sorry, I can't really stand back any further. I've got that painted, and I'm working on my first coat for the main walls. Just a little progress report. I'm gonna keep going. Putting the old Ranger to work today, working on the barn. Well, it's the end of Sunday, and I'm pretty much done for today. Got everything installed that I wanted to get installed today. Got the lights up, wired, and I have plywood for this deck. I'll probably throw it on there tomorrow, but I gotta move all those clay tiles first. So it's definitely coming together. Looks much better than before. The next phase we'll be working on the actual porch part, doing the floor, doing a railing. I'm gonna basically paint this cinder block and kind of clean it up. So I don't know when I'll get to that, but one thing at a time. Wrapping up this video, I've got one coat of paint on the back wall, and I repainted the bathroom white. It was yellow and I just didn't like it. But what I'm gonna do is do another coat on this back wall, the fiberglass and the 2x4s, and I've got some white caulking. I'm gonna kind of fill in a lot of the cracks, smooth it out, make it look a little more finished. And then I've got some spray foam insulation. I'm gonna spray in all the cracks up above, and that'll probably do it for this wall. I've got this back wall pretty much finished. You can see I'm starting on the next project right there. This back wall is pretty much finished with about 2 to 3 coats of the white, and I'm happy with the way that's looking. I got a couple gang boxes for those wire connections right there, so I'll put those in, install them, and paint them, and then you won't see them. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. It's a little dark there all of a sudden. Anyway, that'll do it. I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for the next version of the Auto Barn project. Until then, we'll catch you on the flip side.
Hey, I see you on the